What's up, guys? Standard Lifestyle. We're going to talk all about rod ends. Heim joints, re-buildable flex joints, bushings. These are all completely viable options for the right project. And today we're going to weigh all the pros and cons so you get the right one for your build. Over the last 16 years of going off-road, I've put together a number of projects with each of these options. I absolutely believe there is no one-size-fits-all solution here. Vehicle weight, cost, vibration, these are all things that must be considered when you're selecting the right joint. The first thing I recommend you consider whenever you're selecting a joint is going to be vehicle weight. The vehicle weight has everything to do with how much demand is on each joint. All that push and pull, all of that weight getting flung around, this is going to dictate what size joint you need. Typically, the larger the joint, the stronger it is, and the strongest joints that I've found on the market so far are the re-buildable flex joints. If you're not sure what size joint to go with for your build, I recommend just emailing the manufacturer and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. The second thing to consider whenever you're selecting a joint is vibration. If you're in a badass off-road rock buggy, vibration is probably not an issue for you. But if you've got a really nice overlander that you daily drive to work and you drive 6, 7, 8 hours on the road to get to the destination, vibration is definitely important. The third consideration is cost. Rubber and polyurethane bushings are definitely the cheapest here, followed by Heim joints. Re-buildable flex joints are by far the most expensive, so you need to decide if the advantages of each can offset the cost, and that will definitely help you determine which one is the right one for your project. The two joints we're talking about today are both from Barnes 4-wheel drive. This is an enduro joint, and this is the re-buildable style like we've been talking about. And this is a Heim joint, just your standard run-of-the-mill 3/4 inch, I believe, Heim joint. This is what I call a builder bushing. These are YJ spring bushings, and you just put it in a sleeve. And you can use this for so many different applications, but this is what we're gonna use as our example for a bushing today. Let's start by talking about the bushing. This is the cheapest, this is the lightest, and this has the best vibration dampening of all three. However, there are some pretty big downsides. The longevity isn't great. I mean, you can get a few years out of it on the right application, but there are a lot of instances where if you're a hardcore off-roader, these can only last a few trips in some instances. So that is something to consider. I would say that if you're someone who trailers your rig to the trail and your vehicle is 100% of the time off-roader, this is not the joint for you. But if you're somebody who daily drives your rig, if you're somebody who's an overlander that does a lot of highway miles and also does a lot of miles on just dirt roads, this is a really good option. Yes, you're gonna have to service it more often, but the amount of vibration dampening that this is capable of makes a really big difference in the comfort in the rig. If you are considering the bushing, one thing that I recommend would be whenever you're building your arms, connect this to your Heim joint or connect this to your other rod end. The reason being is this isn't very flexible, which is one of the reasons it's not very durable. But if on one side you have a whole bunch of flexibility and on the other side you have a bunch of vibration dampening, this can actually be the best of both worlds. The next joint we're going to talk about today is the Heim joint. I would say this is the most well-rounded joint of all of the options because of the fact that it's really inexpensive for the amount of performance you get out of it. You get a lot of flex out of it, and they're super, super strong. I would say that this is a great option for someone who has a full-time off-road vehicle and you're not spending a whole lot of time on the road. However, if you want to spend some time on the road and you don't mind a little bit of vibration getting transferred through the cab, this is a great option too. The downsides, of course, are that it's a one-time use, just like a bushing. Once this bushing goes bad, you got to get a new bushing. Once this goes bad, you got to get a new Heim joint. There's no rebuilding of this unit. But they're cheap enough, they're light enough that you can carry a couple spares in your rig and it's not that big of a deal. And your initial investment is it's much lower than a re-buildable flex joint. So there are a lot of really good reasons to go with the Heim joint. You can also use them for steering, which I wouldn't use this or this for steering, but this is a very universal product that I think is a good option for a lot of people. The last joint we're talking about today is one of these re-buildable flex joints. This is an enduro joint, like I had said earlier. And one of the things that I really like about a re-buildable flex joint is the fact that it has kind of like medium vibration resistance. It's not gonna resist vibration like a bushing, but it is way more vibration resistance than you get out of one of these. This has like a nylon race that goes around it and that just transfers vibration, no problem. The races that they put in these are much softer and they're a lot more forgiving, so there's an advantage there. The other advantage is the fact that this thing is completely rebuildable. Once the races wear out, you can go buy a new set of races, put them in there, and you're good to go. That's pretty sweet. Another thing I really like about these is look how long that shank is. If you had one of these on each side of like a control arm or something like that, the amount of flexibility you have is crazy when it comes to tuning and dialing everything in. So that is a big advantage. And then just the strength. Whenever you look at the strength difference between Heim joints and rebuildable flex joints like this, these are extremely strong. In a lot of cases, they say that this maxes out their testing equipment because they're unbreakable for a lot of applications. So there are really good pros to this. The biggest con by far is the cost. I mean, these can be 2, 3, 4 times more cost than you're gonna get out of a Heim joint. And I mean, I don't know, 10 times more than what a bushing costs. But these, for a lot of people, are worth it. For me, I pony up and I spend the extra money to make sure I have some really nice rebuildable joints, because when you put rebuildable joints on your rig, it makes it to where in the future, if you ever need to service it, it's much cheaper in the long run, and it makes sense if you have a build that you want to have 30 years from now. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video. This is a topic that I've been asked to cover for a while now, so I'm glad that I finally took the time to put it together, and I hope this has answered a lot of your questions. If you have any questions about what sizing, like I said earlier in the video, just email one of the big manufacturers, Ballistic Fabrication, Barnes 4-Wheel Drive, Artec Industries. These guys will definitely be able to point you in the right direction and make sure you get the right size for whatever your project is. If you want to help support our channel, you can go to thedirtlifestyle.com. We have t-shirts, hats. We also have a link to our Patreon account on our website. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm @DirtLifestyleNate. We'll see you next time.